Welcome back to this tutorial. Now we're going into introduction to CSS. Now, let's start with what is CSS. CSS stands for Cascading Style Sheet. CSS describes how HTML elements are to be displayed on screen, paper, or other media. CSS saves a lot of work, right? It can control the layout of multiple web pages all at once. Okay, so now the reason for using CSS is to specify the process of making web page presentable. It allows you to apply styles on web pages. All right, so now let's move straight to the next which is types of CSS style sheets. Okay, there are three main types of CSS style sheets. One, we have the inline style sheet. The inline style sheet contains CSS property in the body section attached with element known as inline CSS. Okay, and two, the internal or embedded style sheet. The CSS rulers should be within the HTML file in the head section. Okay, that is, CSS is embedded within the HTML file. And we have the external CSS style sheet. Okay, the external CSS contains a separate file called CSS that contains only style property with the help of tag attributes. All right, so with the course of our practical going to the text editor, I will show you each of this type of CSS. Okay, I'll show you the inline CSS, the internal CSS or the embedded CSS, and you have the external CSS. I will show you the three. Okay, and the next thing here, how does CSS differs from HTML? CSS is used to define a structure of web page, whereas HTML is used to define the structure of a web page, whereas CSS is used to style the web page by using different styling feature. 2. HTML consists of tags inside which text is enclosed, and CSS consists of selectors and declaration blocks. 3. CSS can be internal or external depending upon the requirement. 4. We cannot use HTML inside a CSS, but we can use CSS inside a HTML document. And 5. CSS has comparatively high backup and support than HTML. So, why do we choose CSS? Why do we use CSS in HTML? The reasons why we use CSS in HTML is 1, to solve big problem. 2, saves a lot of time. Right? Now imagine you writing a code for a website that, like, you are writing a 10,000 line of code, and you're supposed to write the CSS code aside with along with the HTML code. It won't be easy. Okay, it won't be easy. So it won't be easy for you to write your HTML file, your HTML code in one file, then create another file, then start writing the CSS code for each of the elements in the HTML that is in the HTML. So the easiest part for you is for you to write the CSS style inside the HTML file document, which is the most preferred way. Okay. Now, number 3, provide more attributes. Number 4, pages load faster. Number 5, easier website maintain. Number 6, multiple device capability. All right. So, why do we learn CSS? Why do you have to learn CSS? Okay, you need to learn CSS so you can know the basis of web development. You need to learn CSS so that you can know how to make your website look presentable. You need to learn CSS so you can add more light more light, more attractive features to your website. Okay, number one, here we have styling is an essential property for a website, right? Number two, here we have base for web development. Number three, you have make your website look attractive. Okay, and that will be all. In our next tutorial, we are going to talk about the CSS fundamental. Thank you very much.